Hello guys. Today is January 14th, 2021. And I am going to tell you the story of a real true single mother because I hope that this story will go viral and save many other mothers out there and make a real change in Mobile, Alabama. And I am currently a Mississippi Gulf Coast Bulldog. Go Bulldogs, go Dogs. And they went way out of their way to help me. And Mobile, Alabama, I don't think you realize how much they've taught me and what they've done for me. And you know, I'm trying to go to school to be a lawyer, making the right field. And you know what? I'm going to get justice for all the other mothers out there and all of everything I've been through this last year, much less the last 5 years. I have a deep appreciation for real mothers, and I'm a true believer. And I believe that, you know, I'm sharing this story with you guys, and I'm putting this story on YouTube, you know, because I believe that this is a true story that could save people and save another mother and save a town, you know. And a true governor would want to get real justice as well. So thank you, Mississippi, for teaching me how to write and the essays and the things to say. My name is Courtney Blair, and this is the story of a real-life single mother fighting for justice. Being a single mother is the best, but one of the hardest jobs in life. My experience has taught me a lesson in very many different ways. A little proof thing, mine is short. God has a plan for all of us, but for so many years I've been angry, hurt, and I've hated myself. Today my outlook on life has changed. This last year has been one of the worst years in my life. I now know that God's plan for me was only setting me up to better myself for the future. I went from a broken place to a better version of myself. I feel stronger and happier than I've ever felt in my life. They say we're never given more than we can handle. And I can tell you firsthand from my own experience that that is the truth. This time last year, I did not think that I was going to live. And not because I wanted to hurt myself, because I would never do that. I've never been able... Okay. I am reading this and doing this. I would never be able to leave behind the one and only gift that God blessed me with, which is my beautiful, blue-eyed, blonde-headed baby boy. Mason just turned 5 in July. He'll be, oh my gosh, 6th July. I'm kind of editing my little essay, guys, when I write this, that I wrote on August the 28th, 2020. As a matter of fact, the night that I was writing this essay, it was, got my keys in the, no, I moved. Dang. dang. Might have submitted this essay. I do believe I got my keys on the 28th. And I moved the 29th, so that's when it was. And, you know, Mississippi taught me a lot. And even having to go through all this and repeat the semester, I know that with the patience and the strength that it's going to be even more better and edited. And I really thank them and the teachers and the school and the counselors and everybody for going out of their way and believing in me. I'll always be grateful for that. All right, as we continue, I'll never forget wanting a little baby girl so bad when I was pregnant. I now know that God chooses things for us for a reason. My handsome little man that God gave me was because He seen the road that I had ahead of myself. I know now that God's choice for that little handsome little baby boy was to save my life. He was the only man that would truly love me forever and for always. When I found out that I was pregnant, November the 23rd, 2014, that first feeling, I was in shock, confused, and scared. I didn't grow up with a family, nor did I have the loving support that it takes to raise a family. My friends and my coworkers were the ones that always hugged me, cried with me, and were there for me. I have felt alone and unloved, and was never the one that was chasing a boy, especially one irresponsible. I'm sorry. I felt alone and unloved since I was a little girl. Sitting on the top of my bunk bed listening to Dixie Chicks. I'll never forget it. I remember that like it was yesterday. I was crying at 9 years old. I was listening to Wide Open Spaces. I wasn't the girl chasing a boy, especially one that was irresponsible as Logan Brewer. And you know what? I'm going to kind of skip back. I got to edit this. But my mother was dating a man named Robert Sellers. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say these names. I don't want to be serious, but he loved me and took me to do things. So I don't think he would sue me for saying this, but... And I guess they had their differences or whichever it was, you know, but I will never forget sitting on that porch at certain times. He used to take me shopping. He bought me a little Tommy Hilfiger hat. Hell, even when he did leave my mama or when they split up, whichever, you know, I'll never forget my little purses that I got. He stayed in my life for a while. And maybe it was just because he really felt that he cared about me, and instead of adopting me on paper, when in my eyes that was the only father that I had known. He played with us. We had a little four-wheeler. We lived in this little trailer park. I woke up to little baby newborn on Christmas. You know, all the things. I wish he stayed in my life for a long time, even when they split. And that was a real man. I will say that much. And there was times where he wouldn't show up to pick me up or whatever. You know, there's certain people that do that. Or I don't know, you know. But as a kid, being, you know, I guess at this point I was between... he was there at all my citizenships up to 2nd grade, I would believe. I would say this all happened before 4th grade, you know. He still came and got me in 4th grade. I'll never forget that. even when my mother and my stepdad first got together. I called him at work. As a matter of fact, he worked at Ruby Tuesdays then. He used to sit on the phone and talk to me when I was a little kid. You know, it's a lot of the people in our lives. A lot of the people in our lives, there's been so many people this year that have given up on me or have not been real love, and there's been a lot that have been there for me. But, you know, my mother married someone and we moved to Texas, and Rob used to call me and we were on the phone and we used to talk a lot. And, you know, I guess people just grow apart and people forget. And when he finally did get married and he had a baby, as a matter of fact, I think his kid was born, had the same birthday as me. You know, and I had not had any contact with this man. I think I seen him when I was 16. We first moved back and different things. Since the day I reached out to him at Ruby Tuesdays, you know. But needless to say, I didn't grow up with a family, nor did I have that loving support that it takes to raise a kid, but I always wanted that for me and my child. My friends, my coworkers, and the people around me were always the ones that were there for me. And I always wanted true happiness, and I made a mistake. And I had sex out of wedlock. We all do it, of course, you know, and we're not proud of it. And I got pregnant. God, did I not, you know, and I wasn't the woman chasing a man that I was in love with, you know, to have a baby. I think Logan at the time was more or less trying to impress his parents to get the attention from... I'm sorry, I messed up. I think he was trying to get the attention from his own parents, maybe, possibly, because he didn't have no ties to me and I didn't have no ties to him. I mean, why are you running off and, you know, telling your parents, bringing a trash bag to my house with your clothes, pressing your little daddy, acting like you want to be a family. But, you know, in my mind, I'm pregnant, I'm scared, I didn't have anybody to talk to, and I was nervous. And my best friend at the time, Brittany Tagadar, she went with me to my ultrasound appointment, and people were there for me and they cried for me. And, you know, I was in love with somebody else, you know. And maybe it wasn't, you know, I thought it was true love. He was actually the person that did things for me, and, you know, and I was very honest with Logan Brewer about that. And, you know, he knew everything, but he took it upon himself to go way out of his way to tell his parents and to do whichever, you know. And, you know, I'll never forget being up there that night. You know, the first day his little daddy was up there at that little river, you know, and I had to wake up and go home, and, you know, because I was just uncomfortable, and I had a baby in my belly. It was very, you know, first few weeks being pregnant, and I couldn't sleep. And, you know, I always wanted true happiness, but when you go and you find and see the picture of a baby on an ultrasound, my coworkers knew it, my boss knew it, the people I cried with, I was at the back in the break room, you know, trying to schedule that abortion and do all these things, and I had all these mixed emotions, you know. And if Jonathan would have told me, hey, you know, I love you and I want to be with you, I may have would have taken a real road, you know. But God has a plan, and at the time, you know, I seen a baby. Me and Brittany Tagador did. Logan wasn't even there for it. You know, I was calling him crying. His parents was bullying him. Then we seen a little baby at my OBGYN at Providence on an ultrasound. And I was so sad because I never wanted a broken home or a broken family. And, you know, I was crying, texting Logan, you know. I guess after, you know, him, blah, 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 I don't know what it was. A couple days later, he finally decides to call. Oh, yeah. We got on my little girlfriend's little birthday dinner. Actually, at Big Creek, Catfish little place. I don't know. I've got a little picture of it. Very only few pictures we had. I bought him a bottle of cologne. It was Christmas. I didn't get a Christmas gift. I did from his mother out of guilt when she was Black Friday shopping. I think it was a Victoria's Secret shirt in a little gift box, probably something she recreated. I put a bottle of cologne on my Dillard's card for him. I don't know. I wanted to do anything that I had to do to have a real family to make it work for my kid, not because I loved and, I would have fell in love with having a family, and you can always grow things. I'll never forget the little hug, his little fake hug on my couch. We can get to that. And I hope this will save somebody else and make a change in the county. But, needless to say, I'm putting my house up for rent. Logan's trying to move my stuff out. Him and his brother's over there. I'll never forget they borrowed some tools actually from my neighbor who's a retired cop mobile, Mr. Brady. And I'm moving. Mr. Brady knew it. A lot of people know it. Mr. Brady. Logan said a lot of lies on Mr. Brady. And he was there and seen me and Mason every popsicle, every snack, every Saturday on his porch. Mr. Brady, you were a real Christian man, and you always believed in me. And you were always there for me. And for the longest time, I thought that maybe they paid you off. Because Logan said a lot of lies on you, but he lies so much. That's why I called you that night. You told me a long time ago that when you were in the system and you went to court, that there was a lot of judges and that justice would be served. And there was a lot of judges that would sit down and lay the law down on that man and be like, hey, well, how'd you get an attorney to come to court? My neighbor told me that he cried when Mason and I moved, and it broke my heart too, because I never wanted, his wife made a cake for my baby on his birthdays, and, and I offered to pay at certain times or just whatever. They were a family to us. They bought Christmas presents. And, one time this lady, this morning that I cleaned for her, she gave me this little lamp thing, and now, when I decided to go back to school, I probably would have used it, but, at the time, I didn't know what to do with it, and Mr. Brady always done, I didn't always have money to buy things for people, and they always did for my kid, the little beach toys that we have, little dumpster trucks, and he would take that picture of me and Mason at Christmas time in front of the neighbor's house down the road, because she was always the one and the only one in the neighborhood that would really decorate for Christmas. And, I would go over there and use his little computer at certain times, or I would vent to him about anything. He even knew my doctor that I went to. And I really hope he's not another one that turned my back, because he always told me that them county police officers, they screwed him years ago and that they didn't do shit. And, it might have been his sister maybe that he had his differences with that really, acted like she was there for me. I don't know. I believed in too many people. Mr. Brady and his wife used to come in, and I used to wait on them, and I used to pack the little boxes up and biscuits all the time. And I was always fast service for them. His wife, she was from a different country, and I really, really, really did believe in her. And she told me one time she would try to get me a little purse from over there, and I told her to pay her for it. I don't know, from Hawaii or something like that. That was a guy that I believed in my eyes. Mason knew him as Mr. Brady, but to me, he was a pawpaw to Mr. Brady, to Mason. He came into my house and looked for little rats. If I had to call him in the middle of the night, I felt bad for waking him up because I was scared to death. Standing on top of my couch, my little ottoman. I would freak out. And he told me where all those rats was coming from the neighbor behind me, and they came out and found them people one time, made them throw fucking like 300 bags of trash away, but didn't help the way my house was. I was so scared. I seen that little mouse on the floor that night. I freaked out. I needed Mr. Brady to help me get that baby out of that room. I was freaking out over my little baby. I was like, oh my God. No, but that was when Mason started sleeping in the bed with me forever. I couldn't sleep by myself, scared of a mouse, and I sure didn't want my baby in his room, and we protected each other, and then he got a little used to it, and I got used to him too. So you know what, Chris Brewer, when you told me when my baby was a newborn, when you sat there telling me don't ever let my kid and your sister stood up to you, let my baby sleep with me, well, I had him for the longest time in the pack and play before he could go into the baby bed by my bed. Got up, did my little feedings, whichever. And when he was old enough to go into his bed, we did that. We were very much on routine. You didn't know nothing about me, and you did come to my house. And as a matter of fact, you and your husband walked in and seen my little nursery. And you know what? I had more in that little shitty house because of the family and my stepdad buying that little baby bed, you know, when he took me, when y'all removed me out the $500 one when I was crying at best, I didn't want to pick out a too expensive one. I'll never forget my stepdad for that day, you know, but you never did a damn thing, you know. My best friend Brittany Tagadar, a nurse at Providence Hospital, you know, once we used to go play, she put my baby swing together. Her sister-in-law, school teacher, and, you know, from Mobile County, they put my toy box together that Miss Noreen, the lady I cleaned for, bought. This is the community. Candy always bought things. I was very, very, very blessed with all of the things that God put into my life, you know. And, oh gosh, it's a 20-minute one. I don't know if I should cut it short and keep uploading or just keep on. But, you know, I always cherished every moment of that, you know. God always sent cleaning jobs my way, sometimes jobs I didn't even know how I could get. I always made ends meet. I waited on everybody in West Mobile, a lot of people. And you know what? If the Brooks didn't believe in me, there's another Brooks name that I do sponsor. And that would be a man that is no longer existing, and that would be Mr. Jim Brooks and his wife. I don't remember her name, and I needed to go back in there and search for y'all's little thing. Because I'll never forget, I brought y'all all those waters. Did y'all get some sweet tea sometime? I know you got a lot of water, and I brought extra. I might get in trouble. And I brought a lot of lemons. Hold on.